Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Micah hanging out here inside Secret Studios at B-Boy 45, Children's Hospital, Colorado. And you know what? It is time for Maya's latest news to keep you in the groove. And what's really cool is she has an awesome special guest today. Maya, who do we have today on Maya's latest news?
Peri Gilpin.
Peri Gilpin! Woo! Awesome! I'm so glad to have Peri here and Maya. Now, Maya, take it away.
Okay, so first of all, I'm just so excited to be talking to you right now. My mom and I were actually watching Frasier right before I came up here. So
Really?
Yeah, so I'm just so excited to be talking to you right now. My first question for you is, what's your favorite thing about acting?
Well, I like being, oh my gosh, there's very little of it that I don't like. I like, reading the script and then thinking about the character and thinking about it in terms of, is this for a play in the theater? Is this for television? Is it a comedy? Is it a film? What's my function here? Am I helping the scene along as a supporting actor? Am I carrying the scene as the lead? All those different things. And what do I need to do for the other actors in the scene? And what do I need to do for myself? And how do I serve this story? And what is it really about? Just there's a million things. So I really like the art of it, and I like working with other artists.
Oh, cool.
That's a long answer.
So before you played Roz in Frasier, you guest starred in an episode of Cheers. Mm-hmm. So how did the opportunity to star in the spinoff come about?
Well, I think this is what I think happened. I had done 2 series that were never really aired. One was aired a few times and the other one was never aired at Paramount with the people that were doing Cheers. They were off after Cheers got up and going, they were trying to put other series on the air, so it was Jimmy Burrows and the Charles brothers, and Jeff Greenberg was the casting director of those, and he was the casting director of Cheers, right? So I did these other 2 series. I got to know a lot of those writers and people. And then when the spinoff, Frasier, when those auditions started, there were 250. We all read. I read 5 or 6 times. You'd go to at that time, that show was produced by Paramount for NBC. So you'd have to get through all the people at the network, the studio, which was Paramount first. And that was a really long process. So then when I did this, the funny story about the last that episode of Cheers was I knew the casting director pretty well. We'd become friends because I'd done these other 2 series. And I went by his office and he said, "Oh, Peri," and he knew I was coming. He said, "Peri, I've been trying to cast this part on Cheers, and I just can't think of anyone for it. Can you read it and tell me what you think?" And I had just had lunch with a woman named Andrea Dishy, who is a friend of mine from New York, and she's an actress. And I said, "Oh my God, Andrea Dishy would be great for this part. This is perfect for her." And then finally he goes, "Well, would you like the part? Would you like to play the part?" And he goes, "We'd really like it if you did it," or something like that. And it just was such a sweet way, and I was so excited because it meant I got to be on Cheers before the end. I made it just under the rope there.
Oh, that's so cool. So you've guest starred and have had recurring roles in so many shows. Have you had a favorite project or character you've played?
I think Roz is definitely my favorite because I think I got to say a lot of stuff that I don't have, the guts to say out loud.
Yeah, whenever watching it, and Roz just like, I love how she just speaks her mind. I'm like, she is like my hero.
Oh, good. Yay. That's the highest compliment you could give me or Roz. Thank you.
Well, thank you. So as I mentioned, you starred as Roz in Frasier. Could you relate to her in any way?
Yeah, I did actually, in fundamental ways, because I was, a young woman who was trained to do this, and I got a chance to do it, and I wanted, to quote Lin-Manuel or Hamilton, I'm not giving. What is it? I'm not giving away the shot. I'm not.
I'm not throwing away.
I'm not throwing away the shot. Yeah, I was like, I felt like Roz. I can't believe I couldn't remember that. I've only heard it like 1,000 times now, but I think every time I hear that, I think of Roz in a way, because it's like she had a real chance, and she was really good at what she did, and it didn't. She just sort of stayed loose and let it flow, and helped him when she could, and she just was very comfortable in a take charge position. So I kind of like had to maybe learn from her a little bit, because I can really feel that way.
Cool. So did you ever have to do multiple takes of scenes because you would break character laughing?
Yes, there were many times that happened, many times. But the two times that come to mind is, one, I was not in the scene, but it was when David Hyde Pierce came out of the bathroom covered in hot and foamy. Do you know what I'm talking about? He was covered in the shaving cream.
Oh, yeah.
That no one could get through. I think we had to pre-shoot that because no one could even get through it in rehearsal. And then the other time was Roz and the Schnoz, when the couple that play my in-laws or the grandparents of my baby say, they have their big noses and they say something about their schnauzer, and everybody lost it. And that was the end of it. And we just laughed through the rest of the scene. And then every shot, you could see someone in the background just losing it. It was very fun.
Oh, cool. Yeah, one of my favorite episodes is the one where Frasier and Niles open that restaurant.
Yeah.
And I love when Roz comes in and Frasier takes her into the kitchen to talk to her, and then when you guys come out, Roz just yells blackmail or something. Like, I just lost it during that line. Like, I was just crying. I was laughing.
I think they have a great relationship, don't they? Roz and Frasier. It's the best.
Yeah. So did you have a favorite episode to film?
I think the episode that there's many, but I think the episode that I just remember laughing all the way through, and I didn't have, it was just a fun episode, was Voyage of the Damned, with the, what was the song? The Barracuda. That, and my friend Jeff Richmond wrote that, and he just has this silly streak a mile wide, and we just were hysterical through the whole thing. That it's just fun to go to work and laugh. We used to say, eat, laugh, go home. That was our job.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. So you were in the 2016 movie Flock of Dudes alongside Skylar Astin, and I interviewed Skylar a couple of months ago, and we've kept in touch through Instagram. And I was telling him yesterday that I really feel like instead of the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, I feel like I'm playing 6 degrees of Skylar Astin. Do you have any fun stories or memories from filming?
From Flock of Dudes? I don't think I was there more than a couple. I may have only been, no, okay. So what here? Yes, I do. Because what Skylar was great and he was super prepared. All of them were. And there was a scene where we were at the wedding banquet where I just watched each one of them, do their thing and at the same time collaborate, but at the same time, do their own individual thing. And we laughed all day long. And for some reason, I don't know if that scene is as funny as it was in the room. Do you know what I mean? But yeah. It was one of those impossible things to shoot because it was single camera. Like you could have shot it if it was multi-camera, like Frasier, a lot easier because you would have had 4 cameras and you could have staged it. But to get what was going on, there were so many characters and so many very funny comedians and good actors doing their thing. I kept wondering, how are you going to get all this? And it just wasn't all there, but it was all there. You know what I mean? But the funny story is, and that's just hard to do. It's just hard to stage it. It's just you need to be like a seasoned person. I'm not sure anybody could have done it the way it was, but I'm not putting anybody down. I just remember how funny it was and what a funny day it was. But a couple of nights before, I went and did a nighttime scene of a wedding. And the wedding was under these trees and it was a beautiful, beautiful setting in Whittier. And Ray Liotta played my I think he played my boyfriend or someone I met at the wedding. So Ray Liotta is, he's a big star. I was really thrilled to meet him. And we were laughing and we got along and, we had to dance together all night. So that was it. So on Frasier, all those years when background actors have to do this thing where they have to fake it, for sound. So they have to dance, but there's no music, and I just thought that is my actor's nightmare. And so the night that with Ray Liotta at this wedding, I had to like for 8 hours, I had to do that. It was mortifying. But, you get to be friends pretty fast. So that's my story about Flock of Dudes. But Skylar was great. Skylar was that kind of kid that walks in the door. I think I played his mom in that. He walks in the door and he just starts singing and entertaining everybody. He's full of energy, full of life, and he just shares that with everyone.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So do you have any upcoming projects?
Yeah, I do. I did a movie it's now called Rushed, and it's a drama, and it's I would say that it's about a mom who it has to deal with something horrible that happened to her son. And so it's about sort of like fraternity hazing and that kind of thing. Mm. But it's mainly on a deeper level, it's about how us moms, worry about our kids and one bad move and you don't, you just worry about your children. So it's about that. So it's dramatic. And my friend Siobhan Fallon Hogan is the star of it. And she also wrote it. And she was on Saturday Night Live. She's a comedian. She's hilariously funny. And so it's always interesting to me when really, really funny people do really, really dramatic work, And Kelsey's a genius at that too. But she really, as an example of someone that, you can do either. Siobhan really almost surprised me with her intensity. She's really good in this. And then this other movie I did that's coming out is called We Broke Up. And the cast is crazy. It's Aya Cash and William Jackson Harper and Sarah Bolger and Tony Cavallero and Emily Pendergast and Azita and all just this kid named Zach Steiner. Just amazing cast of very funny people that are really good actors. And it tells a very sweet, sweet, sweet story. So both of those are on their way out.
Oh, cool. So what is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh, my Lord. Don't get me started. Oh, my gosh. Well, right now, and I just mean this with all my heart, my biggest pet peeve is people not voting. I think we have to vote, and not only for our national elections, but I'm a member of a union, the SAG-AFTRA, and we just had a huge vote last week, and only 27% of the membership voted, and
wow.
and it really affects everybody for the next 3 years. And I know there's a lot going on, and I know that it's hard to keep up with everything, but I just said, let your voice be heard. What does Michelle Obama say when we hear our voices? Let your voice be heard. I think that's it, when we let our voices be heard.
Yeah, my sister and I, this is the first year that we're going to be able to vote, and we're so excited. And we voted in was it the primaries here or something?
Yeah. The primaries.
Yeah.
Colorado, yeah.
Yeah, and we were so excited, and because Skylar has been advocate. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. For people to vote. I sent him a picture of us mailing our
ballots.
Voting.
Your ballot. Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time thinking of words this morning.
Me too.
So
it's called Monday. It's called Monday.
Yeah. So yeah, we're so excited to be able to vote.
Me too. I'm looking forward to it. That's so good to hear. I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled you're voting, Maya. I'm so thrilled both you and your sister are.
Yeah, that's a very important reminder for everyone to vote, and to, regardless of your beliefs or who you're voting for, make your voice heard. That's very important.
So is there a certain...
I forgot to say one more thing. The other thing is Old Guy. I have this web series out right now. It takes 20 minutes to watch. You can watch it on YouTube, and it's called Old Guy, and it's about ageism in Hollywood.
Oh, fascinating.
Very funny. It's very funny. It's all 6 episodes you can watch in 20 minutes. But it's a very, very funny, well-written thing that I actually did in 2013. But the people that made it, these 5 sisters, it's called 5 Sisters Productions, and they wrote it about their father, who, when he retired from being a professor of psychology, he decided to come to LA and be near his daughters and his grandkids and live by the beach and pursue his acting career again at 80. And he worked all the time. He'd get job after job, but it was always as an adult diaper wearer or, lecherous man at the bar or something like that. So, but they wrote a really funny comedy about it that really captures our business and captures kind of the ageism in our business. And so it's called Old Guy, and you can find it on YouTube, and it's really good.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Cool.
As soon as we get off, I'm gonna tell my mom and sister all the new things we have to watch. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So is there a certain line from a book or movie that has always stuck with you or inspires you?
Yes, but it's really corny. But I'm going to share it with you if you won't make fun of me.
I promise.
All right, there's two that I always think of. One is always keep your eye on the ball as long as it is in play. And that's a baseball. I think is it Kovacs? Ernie Kovacs? Does that make sense?
I think so. Sounds right.
Quote. And then the other one is, if I ever lose my faith in you, I don't know what I do. I don't know what I would do, which is from Sting.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to sing that to myself. Okay, hang in there. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, that's always a good reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's I also have a couple lines from movies and books there's actually one from a TV show where it's a Netflix show called Alexa and Katie, and it's the very first episode where Katie tells Alexa, she says, as long as you're my best friend, you're never going through anything alone. And I love that. I tell my sister all the time, she's my Katie. So
Oh, that's very beautiful. That's gorgeous.
Yeah. After my sister and I watched the series finale, we both looked at each other and we were just both crying.
I got to watch this now.
It's so good.
And Alexandra?
Katie. Alexa and Katie.
Alexa and Katie. Okay, great. I will watch it.
Okay.
I'm not wrong.
Which character from a book or movie would make the best or worst roommate?
Oh my gosh, that is really good. Well, do you have you ever seen Emma Thompson's Sense and Sensibility? Have you ever seen her movie, the Jane Austen Sense and Sensibility? Emma Thompson she acts in it.
I don't think so.
Well, she plays. I'm blanking on names, and these are very well-known names. But she plays the older sister Eleanor, and she's so fantastic. And all the sisters, Kate Winslet's in it. She plays Marianne, and Hugh Grant is in it and plays Edward Farrar. They say it's impossible. Farrar, yes, yeah. But they say it differently in England. But anyway, it's so beautiful. Ang Lee directed it, and you feel when you watch it, you feel like. Have you ever read Jane Austen? Do you know Jane Austen?
I do know her. I don't think I've read her books.
She wrote Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility, and a couple of really great. Many really great books about women, but in like the 1700s, when she was one of the first novelists, and she just captures very much what it's like to be a woman, I think. And I think Emma Thompson's adaptation of her novel, Sense and Sensibility, really talks about that and relationships between sisters and moms and daughters and mothers. And so I always just think that when you asked that question, the first person that came to mind was Eleanor would be a fantastic roommate and a fantastic person to sometimes I wish I was in her family because, they're a lovely family.
I'll have to add that to my list of movies to watch. So thank you. Is there a show that you're currently binge watching?
We love, let's see. You know what my go-to is the British baking show. I mean, I just have that on a loop all the time. When I'm doing other stuff. At night, when we sit down and say, let's watch something, there's a great show, but it's in French. So you have to read the subtitles. And it's called Call My Agent. And it's fantastic. It's so great. And you might pick up some French while you're watching it, but it's all subtitled. And so that's a great show. I keep hearing, and I want to watch the show called Delicious. I keep hearing about Delicious. I think it stars Ian, one of the guys from Game of Thrones, one of the actors from Game of Thrones. And what did we just finish? I just hate finishing it. Don't you hate finishing shows?
Yeah.
That's why I kind of just do British baking show because I hate for them to end,
Yeah. Yeah, I know when quarantine first started, I like binge watched the entire series of Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's one of my go-to shows. I have a lot. That one, Alexa and Katie, Frasier.
I've got to watch all the episodes of Parks and Rec because I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen a lot of them, and it's brilliant. It's so good. And
Yeah.
The Office, of course. I mean, we're so bad because our kids kind of turned us on to stuff that like The Office and Bob's Burgers. And so even though they're like, 16 now, we'll still go, let's watch The Dinner Party, let's watch the Bob's Burgers Thanksgiving show, like just because we just want to remember what it was like when they introduced us to these hilarious shows that they weren't on our radar for some reason,
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Reason was them, my kids. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said for some reason they weren't on our radar, but ironically, it was our kids that is why we didn't watch as much TV. And then later they introduced us to stuff that we missed while we were dealing with them instead of watching TV.
I had seen a couple episodes of Parks and Rec, but never the whole series. So when quarantine started, I was like, now would be a good time to binge watch this. So, sorry.
Who's your favorite character on that? Who's your favorite?
I don't know. I love Leslie.
Yes, I love her.
Yeah, and then I love when Adam Scott and Rob Lowe came into the series. I just love their characters and how positive Rob Lowe is all the time.
Yes, it's great. They're great.
Yeah. So have you discovered any new hobbies or talents during quarantine?
No, but my horoscope said that I would. A couple of days ago, that I would decide to monetize one of my secret hidden talents, and I'm trying to figure out what that is. Really, what could it be? One of the things that I've done during quarantine is, and I've been wanting to do it my whole life. Truly, we're organized. I mean, and I've been saying I want to get organized. People even laugh about it. They're like, when are you ever going to get organized? But so I figured, like, if I'm not going to get organized during quarantine, it's never going to happen. And that's another thing. It's like you always say, at some point I'm going to go through all the pictures on my phone and, get rid of the ones I don't, the duplicates and stuff. And it's like, if you're not going to do it now, you're never going to do it.
Yeah. I'm not good at keeping organized. My mom always has to help me because I'm not good at that.
I'm terrible at it. That's why I've needed all these months, to even get some semblance of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know for me, I've gotten, quarantine has given me a chance to get obsessed with all these Broadway soundtracks. So that's what I've been doing during quarantine.
Like what? What are you getting into? What about Company? Have you heard Company?
I haven't.
Okay. That's your next one.
Okay. Okay.
It's so good.
Okay. Thank you.
What are you into?
Spring Awakening.
Neat.
That's my favorite. And then I love Rent. And
my niece just did Rent at our high school. My niece she just did it in the last time we were at school in the fall.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I just saw it for the first time. I had never seen it. And I think it's worth getting obsessed with. It's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, we watched the movie a little bit ago because I I had like these specific soundtracks that I would just always listen to. And then my mom was like, you should listen to Rent. You'd like that. And so I listened to it and just became obsessed with it.
Yeah, it's really good. And it really holds up. I mean, it's relevant right now as it was back, not even, as it was, when was it? Is it 20 years old? Is it even older than that? I'm not sure, but
I think it's about 20.
20 years old.
That sounds about right.
It's right there.
So if somebody narrated your life, who would you want the narrator to be?
That's a fantastic question that I've never heard before. Who would I like the narrator to be? Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman is a very common response. He has a wonderful voice.
He does. But also, my favorite movie is called The Descendants. It's a very meaningful movie to my husband and myself. We watch it way too often. And at the end, the sort of denouement is George Clooney and his two daughters watching the Penguin documentary, and Morgan Freeman is narrating, talking about it, and we're like, it is the most comforting, sound to hear him. Everything's going to be all right. So that I honestly, I think that's what it is. But I bet Morgan Freeman is the most common response.
Yeah.
How great for him.
Yeah. So what song would be on the soundtrack to your life?
Well, right now, I just cannot stop listening to this song by John Mayer called Stop This Train.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So my last question for you is, who do you consider to be a real-life superhero and why?
Well, the first person that comes to mind is someone who's become a great friend over the last couple of years. I mean, I have to say two people. One, Paul Newman, because Paul Newman used that beautiful face to put on, to leave a legacy for his kids, wonderful work for them to continue to do. And so every time, I see his face and eat one of his cookies or has some of his salad dressing or some of his spaghetti sauce or something, I feel so good that I'm helping other people and in his memory. And I just think that kind of work is heroic. But another person is a woman named Margaret Hamilton, who I've gotten to know, not the Wicked Witch of the West and Wizard of Oz, but this is a woman who actually invented software engineering as we know it. She was at MIT and she helped write the theory of chaos, or the chaos theory, which is, that you can't really, Jeff Goldblum does a monologue about it in Jurassic Park, where he's talking, the wings of a butterfly affect everything else. And that's the chaos theory, is that you can't really predict weather because of all the variables. But then she went on to develop and write the code for the Apollo guidance computer that actually landed man on the moon 51 years ago. And I've been working on a documentary about her, and I know her, and she lives in Boston, and I go see her, and my kids have met her, and she's a fabulous person because she doesn't talk about her gender. She doesn't do things because she's a woman or not. She's a person, and she believes in people, and she's very, very humble, funny, generous, brilliant woman. And I learn more from her every day. Every time we talk, I learn something else, and we laugh a lot. And so she's definitely one of my heroes.
That's very cool.
Cool.
Yeah, those are very important projects that she's done. Very important stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of colossal.
Yeah, quite.
and her lack of ego is kind of why we don't know more about her, but we're going to. Yeah. And if you look up anything about her, she's incredibly inspiring. But mostly, she's kind and funny and has an amazing sense of humor about life.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my family and I think like one of the most important things in life is just to laugh. Like just laugh all the time. We have like daily we'll just burst out laughing because of something, which is just like the best feeling.
My husband has this great talent of will be in the biggest fight, like so mad at each other, and he just knows exactly when to turn it. And we're just laughing so hard we can't, because he just has that great sense of humor. He can just turn on it, and I can't help it. It just gets me every time.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for calling in. I had so much fun talking to you.
Me too. You're one of my heroes too. I really enjoyed getting to know you.
Thank you. Well, you're one of my heroes. So.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Awesome. Well,
sometime.
What?
Let's talk again sometime. I enjoyed talking to you. Next time I'll have some questions for you.
Okay.
Very nice. Well,
okay.
Awesome. Thank you so very much, Peri. Really appreciate it. Thanks for calling in for Maya's show. And if you ever happen to be in Colorado and want to stop by the hospital and hang out, I'm sure there'd be a lot of kids who would love to be able to chat with you as well. Thanks, Peri. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.